the San Jose Sharks figure out a way to lose in epic fashion. Kahkonen playing out of his head. I don't know. We'll see after this. But first, if you want to be a part of the show and join the conversation with us, check us out across all of the social media platforms. That being the YouTube chat, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, SoundCloud, Reddit, Discord, and all the shenanigans on TikTok as well. Check all of those links out and more at tealtownusa.com. And support the podcast at Teal Town USA on the Venmos. We appreciate it. Your tax dollars go to work.
Your tax dollars, are we the government now?
Well, I mean, I don't know. If the government figures out how to lose in like the most epic of fashions with the least amount of time left, then perhaps we might be the government. I am joined by Ian Reed. Ian, how are you doing this evening?
I'm Ian Reed, and I approve this message.
Well, you heard it here first, folks. This game. So, I mean, starting off, didn't really have the greatest of feels going into it. The Vegas Golden Knights being a little bit on a roll coming out of the break, the much needed break for them, because it seems like it's like the walking wounded over there.
Yeah.
But still, I mean, a dangerous team nonetheless with a guy like Jack Eichel on the ice. And Ian, I mean, in that first period, I have no words besides pathetic, embarrassing, getting handed their lunch, being bullied on the schoolyard. And the only reason why, they were even remotely able to be into this game was Kahkonen tonight. I mean, the goaltender stood on his head.
Yeah, I mean, look, Kaapo Kahkonen hasn't had the great season, but better late than never. I mean, he has come on of late. I've been pretty impressed with his play of late. I don't know if I'm like completely back on the Kahkonen bandwagon, but I will give him credit where credit is due. He had a hell of a game tonight, and he's had a few of those of late. Definitely not his fault that the Sharks squandered this one. I feel bad for him because I think given the performance he had tonight, he probably deserved to win, which is reminiscent of how I felt about him last season, where I just felt like, it was like, man, he was really good. Too bad they didn't get the 2 points.
Yeah, and honestly, Ian, I mean, the team in that first period did him no favors at all. I mean, they literally gave up scoring chance upon scoring chance upon dangerous scoring chance. And I mean, He had acrobatic saves first, second, and third period. And to me, it's that team, I mean, got physically manhandled in that first and really just was like a shrinking violet. I mean, it was pathetic.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't a great first period. I don't think that. I mean, look at Vegas are a good team, and the Sharks are not, and that was on display in the first period. But this game, I'll give you credit though, man. By the end of this game, like I was right into it, where I wasn't really, at the start of it, I was like, whatever. Second period, okay, it's they're in it, but they sure played with fire, giving Vegas, I don't know how many power plays, 7.
Yes, 7 power
like
plays.
Something
tonight.
Ridiculous like that. So I mean, they absolutely played with fire and managed to, for the most part, not get burned by it. I mean, this game definitely got better as the game went on. Like I said, by the end of it, I was right into it. Like this, to me, is the perfect Sharks game because they were in it till the very end, and then you lose it in the last minute, and you don't get any loser points. You don't get any 2 points. I mean, if they had won this game, like I'm never going to get mad at beating Vegas. Like I understand that it doesn't help the tank, but I'm always going to enjoy a win over Vegas. But if you're going to lose, this is the way to do it. Be entertaining until the very last minute of the game and then blow it. and no points, and and I was entertained. Like win.
Yeah, I think I guess I'm just most upset for Kahkonen because it was just literally his best game. I think they had kind of played it a little bit up, but I really do think it was one of his better showings tonight.
Yeah.
And we had seen a couple of articles come out with Shang talking about a couple of other GMs around or other executives around the league saying that this is a guy that needs to work on his foundational skills or needs to be working on not being as aggressive and then becoming vulnerable to the lateral attack. And tonight, this was a guy who knew when to pick his battles, kind of knew when to hold back, but knew when to challenge a shooter. It seemed like his decision making was very quick and very decisive with what he wanted to do and where he wanted to front pucks. And I think it allowed like his best attribute to shine through, which is his twitchiness, right? I mean, his reflexes are what makes him an appealing goaltender and one that you'd hope would try and battle for a 1A slot.
Yeah, and the other thing too is like the one thing that I do admire about Kahkonen a lot, and this has been even when he's been bad, he never really gives up on a play. Like he's always battling, and I love that about him. Now again, because like you said, you kind of highlighted his lateral game isn't particularly fantastic. You could I'm not gonna hang the last goal on him, but that is a thing where kind of highlighted what you said perfectly. It was a thing where he kind of got a little aggressive to the shooter, and then it ended up being a pass, and he wasn't able to get over. Now, obviously, his defense should absolutely bail him out at that point. But I just thought it was good because I thought I highlighted what you said.
Yeah. No, I appreciate you bouncing that off. I mean, quickly, you had mentioned a little bit earlier on playing with fire, but the Sharks.
Landy, everyone says you're quiet. I don't know if you can see if you can turn yourself up.
Let's try that. Let's see if that works better. I just didn't want to peek into the microphone, but I digress. Going back into it, I mean, the Sharks, like you had said, played with fire. 3 power plays given to the Vegas Golden Knights in that first period. Vegas power play looked really bad. I mean, this looked like a team that is missing a Mark Stone out of it. You know what I mean? Like It just looks off.
Yeah, I mean, Mark Stone's obviously such a good player, as much as it pains me to say that. And Jack Eichel's a completely different player with him than without him. And I still like Jack Eichel a lot, but when they were together this year, like that has been quite the nasty combination, and Eichel's been a little cooled off without Mark Stone in the lineup. I'm curious to see, what the Golden Knights do, because this is a team where, they like to go for it. They always want to go for it. So I'm curious to see, if they do decide to elect to put Mark Stone on the long-term injured reserve, if they do try to bring in a guy, I just wonder if it would be a rental rather than someone who with term left. Like, I don't think Timo Meier makes a lot of sense for him, because you have to sign Timo Meier to another, to a new deal, or have him sign his qualifying offer, what have you. And so I mean, I'm curious to see what they do, because I think they're always a fascinating team. They always seem to go for it. So I'm curious to see if they make a move. Like, I wonder if they're a team that looks like let's say Patrick Kane, for example. I wonder if they could find a fit there.
Yeah, and because Patrick Kane, I mean, he doesn't have too much time left on that deal. I think it's a good pickup for a team like Vegas, who has this short window. I mean, they keep extending it with all the trades that they make, but relatively so. It's fleeting in the NHL, and that's for sure. So. Getting a high-end forward and another high-end impact forward, it seems like they just trade them away. But still, a guy like Pat Kane, could make sense for them and really could help that power play.
Yeah, and like I said, I don't know, I don't want to see Vegas do well, but they're always a fascinating team at deadline, because they always seem to find ways to add. I just, can they add without having to just, who's going to be the lucky team to get a really good player next year for futures. You don't want to put, they don't want to obviously put themselves in that situation too often.
Right. Well, going into the second period, the Sharks would play a lot better of a game, I think. Going through in, like, I would say the first half of that first period, it looked like San Jose was still kind of skating through some mud. But the latter half of the second period, the Sharks kind of picked it up. And again, Capo really making great saves and allowing, the Sharks to kind of hang around. And Alexander Barabanov would get the Sharks on the board first, and it would come at 17:04 in the second period, so only 3 minutes left in the period. And I think the Sharks did a good job of weathering the initial part of the storm. Or
the Golden Knights didn't have a shot on goal, I think, until I think there was 8 minutes left in the second period before the Golden Knights actually got a shot on goal. So I thought the Sharks really came on in the second, and obviously Barbie got a really nice goal in Aiden Hill. And again, Barbie's, continues to, in my opinion, be, kind of the key to unlocking the offense a little bit, because I feel like wherever he is, everyone else is kind of better around him. So yeah, I mean, I'm happy for Barbie to get another goal.
Yeah, and I think, again, another one of those just kind of work ethic type goals and stuff, and kind of staying around the net and being hungry for a goal. So you like seeing that, and Couture and Vlasic would end up getting the assists there. So the EK 65 point watch does not get a point for this evening, unfortunately. But I'm sure he'll just go off and have like a 3
right
game.
Yeah, it'll be fine.
Yeah. And like we had said, Sharks did a pretty good job in that second period of kind of initially kind of weathering it out. And, I think we're able to play a fairly good game at the start of that third period. I liked their play. It seemed like, it seemed like they were still continuing to generate chances. But I would say probably after the 5-minute mark in that third period, I don't know what hit them, if Vegas kind of finally woke up and like, hey, we're losing to these, to these bozos over here. But Paul Cotter would get his 11th of the season with Eichel getting the assist, and it come at 6:22 in the third. So from that point, I think you saw the pendulum swing back over to Vegas. And I think that, again, we had little bursts here and there, but no real sustained pressure from the Sharks after that point.
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, obviously Vegas, no one wants to lose ever, but I think obviously this is a team that they probably don't want to lose against, just for a number of reasons. These teams still don't really like each other very much. Yeah. You can see that through the play on the ice. But yeah, I mean, obviously, look, they know that they're a better team than this. They know that they should be taking care of the Sharks. And obviously, once they got that goal, what felt like forever, they just couldn't break through. Once they got that goal, yeah, I think that definitely Vegas got some momentum. And from that point on, I mean, this was an exciting game. I thought, like, I was super into it by this point, because obviously it's, it's a tie game, and I thought there was, like, obviously Kahkonen had to do the bulk of the work, but I thought, the Sharks, when they did get opportunities, they definitely, they made it exciting. I thought Kevin Labanc had some really good looks in the third period. Finally skating with real players.
Right? I mean, or just not even riding the pine pony, for Christ's
right
sake.
Yeah. And I thought he had a lot of energy, and obviously he's trying to, climb back up the lineup. So obviously he wants to perform well. Yeah, I don't know. It's a good, it was a good game for him. Like I said, this was an exciting third period. I was right into it. Like, this is the way that you want the games to go, because, like, I want to be entertained until the end, and this game, for the most part, the Sharks hung in there, and as the game went, the game definitely got better. And then, no loser points. 2 points I wouldn't have been so upset with. A loser point probably would have annoyed me. So, a perfect game.
Yeah, and we're getting some reaction from the dressing room. Thank you so much, AJ, for bringing those out for us. I'm just kind of starting to preload them up here. 30 years, I've never seen a season like this. This is from David Quinn. We looked like a tired team. The schedule caught up to us. Disappointing in how we played the third. I mean,
yeah,
man, a few words, I guess. But it's kind of concerning, especially when we'll go into the final goal here.
Mm-hmm.
But the final goal with 16 seconds left, William Carrier with his 15th of the season, and Chandler Stevenson and Theodore getting the assist. But this one, not only did we kind of highlight the lack of good lateral movement,
but this
what
is on
the
Nick
hell?
Benino.
What the hell is Nick Benino doing?
Right,
Yeah.
and that's the thing, right? Like we can talk about Kahkonen and talk. I just thought it was interesting how you brought up the lateral movement and everything, but at the end of the day, like that's Nick Benino's guy, and he was nowhere near him, and then. And then he takes a 10-minute misconduct at the end and thinks he took it out on the ref, I guess.
Right.
I mean, obviously, look if I'm the Sharks and with how many power plays the Golden Knights had, like I understand how they're a little heated at this point. Probably being a little upset. I think there was some good calls there, but I think there was some soft calls too.
I mean, shit, at that rate, though, Ian, we could have given them 10 and they still wouldn't have scored. Yeah. Oh, but, I mean, it's like, I don't understand where Nick Benino can get off on the official there, and maybe he's upset with the way that they dropped the puck? Or...
No, I think it's just because, again, like, the power plays were super lopsided one direction. Now, again, if you want to get power plays, have the puck, that helps. I don't know. I mean, I'd be curious to see why he went off, but he's not going to tell us. And so we have to I just assume it's because he feels that obviously there's so many calls that went in Vegas's favor that probably it's a frustrating way to lose a game. I mean, if for me and you, we can come on here and be like, yeah, they lost and the game was entertaining until the very end. And this is great because, because other teams have picked up points and we need the Sharks to stop doing that. But I think for them, like guys in the heat of the moment that lose a game like that, like that's human. It. Yeah. That's a kick in the nuts. Like for them, that's a kick in the nuts. For me, I don't care. This is great.
No, I mean, but you're absolutely right. I mean, one, you think, because Nicky is more of a defensive player anyways, right? He's a defensive forward. And so, he feels like he probably let Capo down there. I mean, Capo had such a great game tonight, and he would have 36 of 38 saved tonight. So 36 saves on 38 shots. And good for 947. So honestly, doing yeoman's work there. But yeah, I mean, to sum it up, I mean, it was Nick Benino's man that just got lost in the corner, and rough way to lose a game. But like you had said, I think if we're being truthful with ourselves, we know where this team is at, and this team does need to lose a little bit more ground in order to try to get a good shiny piece in the draft. And I think we've kind of all accepted that reality at this point.
Right.
At least I hope we have.
Know the score, I hope. If you don't know the score at this point, I mean, I don't know what to tell you.
Or the standings either. Because, that one's kind of rough to look at right now. But
yeah, I don't know. I mean, they say they're tired. I'm tired.
And like we had talked about before, I mean, this losing has done nothing to sharpen our skills as far as podcasting afterwards.
No, I'm still the same. It's made me worse. I like the last show I did with the puck guy. I'm just like, after the show, I was just like, oh, that just was terrible. And it wasn't even like, I don't even think it was that bad, but I'm just like, I feel like all I did was just like rehash the talking points that I made on like the previous 4 shows. So I'm just like, fuck, like when I was talking to Hockey Jerk about it, I said this what I said to him was I'm like, I don't know, man. I don't know what happened. I just feel like I had nothing to say and I just like went to my Jones rant because like for a while there it was just like I don't know, I don't have anything to say left about this team. Everything's terrible, but Martin Jones sure sucks, and I can tell you why, passionately. Yeah, I just felt like it was one of those shows.
Yeah. Quinn breaking down a little bit more and talking about the officiating. I don't want to go down that path, but you'd be hard pressed to find a game where one team takes 7 penalties, the other takes 1. Tell us how you really feel.
I'd like to look at I'd like to see the I'd like to see the fancy stats for this game. Because again, like the one thing that I'll always say, right, is like if you want to draw penalties, have the puck. And I don't know. I'd like to see what the possession numbers look like.
Well, the face-off numbers were not great.
No.
The Sharks would win 35% of the face-offs tonight. And, yeah, I mean, again, I think if Kahkonen wasn't in goal tonight and you had Aaron Dell out there, this game was probably
Aaron Dell was good in the game he played, though. Like, he wasn't bad.
True that, but some of those saves were...
Yeah, Kahkonen made some ridiculous saves tonight, for sure.
Like, all I have to say is the belly flop with the
blocker?
Yeah, with the blocker still up.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, like, what? I mean, it gave me shades of the Scorpion, you know?
Yeah.
Anthony Scorpion. Oh, those Detroit Sharks games were so good with Pavel Datsyuk in the shootout. See, and this is why you shouldn't get rid of it. But that's another conversation for another night. Ian, I mean, this kind of wraps up this game, but still a lot of coals in the hot stove, and a lot of them swirling around San Jose. Another article coming out today saying that no teams have engaged with extension talks on Timo yet, but the team is allowing others to talk to the agent. So
that's interesting.
Right?
Yeah, I don't want Timo to go, but I just feel like if they're going to make trades, they better start like if they trade Timo, then they should trade Karlsson. This has kind of been my talking point that I'm going to just start repeating every show until they fucking do something. I feel like if you're going to trade one, you should just trade both at that point. Like especially if you're trading Karlsson, then you should absolutely trade Timo Meier at that point, because I feel like the dead cap, you're going to end up with Erik Karlsson. It doesn't make sense to keep Timo at that point. I don't know. I'm sure other people will disagree with me, and that's fine. I respect that. But in my opinion, like I feel like if you're going to trade one, trade both.
Yeah, and I agree with you. And the other thing that I'm kind of starting to come around on just a tad, this talk of an Evan Bouchard being put back in the trade discussion with San Jose for potential Erik Karlsson to the Oilers scenario.
Yeah, I mean the Oilers definitely have some intriguing pieces, and again, like I think I like Erik Karlsson a lot. And that I've never made any secret about that on this show.
And he's playing like a superstar right now.
Right, and he's playing like a superstar right now, but like I still find it a little bit wild that like I understand he's playing really well this year, and I would want this Erik Karlsson on my team, but I also remember the last 3 years. So I'm surprised that the chatter has seemed to be as loud as it is, because coming up to this point, I'm just like, Erik Karlsson getting traded? Get the fuck out of here. Like, this shit's not happening.
But apparently, if you're one for TSN rumors, the forwards from Edmonton has asked for a puck moving defenseman.
Yeah. I mean, and Erik Karlsson definitely fits that bill. Look at I understand Edmonton being interested. Man, it's just, to me, like, as good as Erik Karlsson's been this year, man, it's still, to me, it's still buyer beware a little bit here, though, isn't it?
I totally agree. I mean, if you're able to somehow finagle him and keeping only 18 to 20% of the hit of the cap,
It's going to be like 4 to 5 million now.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, a couple of an Evan Bouchard and a Puljujarvi kind of together, that might make me bat an eyelash or two at that.
I like Puljujarvi, but at the same time, like, I just, I don't know, like, again, like, I think if you're doing this, you're not doing this to be immediately better. I just can't see Puljujarvi surviving under David Quinn.
Yeah, that's true. I guess I keep wanting to get some more forwards to pair up with Eki and Boards.
They need fucking defensemen is what they need.
well, let's be real. They need to overhaul.
Yeah, I mean, and you're probably taking Edmonton. You're probably taking back Tyson Barrie back in that trade. Yeah. I would imagine. Not that, again, that should excite anybody, but like, it's definitely a body.
Right. And like you had said, I mean, this team, it's playing Jacob McDonald for sake. And Nick Cishek.
I think Jake McDonald's been okay.
I mean, he's been
for what he is, like, I think he's been fine. I mean, like, again, this team is what it is at this point.
Yeah.
I'm not going to get too mad at, like, seventh defenseman playing like seventh defenseman.
True that. But I will say this, though. I will be mad if Kevin Labanc is on this roster come trade deadline, because he is just rotting here. I mean, and I wonder if he doesn't make it, I mean, could he be one to be out of the league? Because if you can't make it on the Sharks, I mean, would another team want to take a chance on you? I mean,
who are we talking about? Sorry,
Kevin Labanc.
Oh, Kevin Labanc.
I think he's on thin ice.
Kevin Labanc's a tricky one, right? Because while I don't think his usage has been particularly good, I also have to ask the question, what is going on for this to be the third coach that this has happened with Kevin Labanc? Like, you have to at least ask that question.
Mm-hmm. And that's why I'm asking could he be out of a job because of how he's gone?
No, I think I think the problem with Kevin Labanc, in my opinion, is that with the cap not moving, these $5 million good players are what are just killing teams right now. Yeah. It's not Connor McDavid's bajillion-dollar contract because he's worth all that money, right? It's the good players, not elite, good players making around $5 million. I think that's what's hurting a lot of teams right now.
Right. And I think you'd put the nail on the head on that one with the cap and kind of the stagnation. And I guess we'll end it on this, Ian, with this last little topic. Bally Sports and the RSNs, and I don't think that this is getting enough airtime from enough places, but they're looking like they're going into bankruptcy.
Yeah, so me and Puck Guy did talk about this a couple weeks ago. I think the thing is like, I don't think anyone wants to be everyone's trying not to be super hysterical about this, and I think that's the right thing, because so far they did miss a payment to their creditors, but so far, from what I've read, they have made all their payments to all their payments for RSN coverage have been made. So, but obviously with the bankruptcy coming, once they go into bankruptcy protection, they could weasel their way out of some markets probably, if it comes to that. And that's why a lot of leagues are sitting down to discuss this right now, because obviously a lot of leagues, live and die by their RSN coverage for team revenue.
Right.
So, I mean, so far everyone's gotten their money. But I think this is something that I don't think we have to worry about it this season. I think if they do go into Chapter 11 and it gets into the summer, I think that's when you have to start wondering what's going to happen, right? As far as what our team's going to do to, get their games on the air. And I think the problem is that with more people watching things online, watching things through streaming, that RSNs are kind of it's kind of a dated model. And I think the NHL really needs to do something about it, to the point where, they need to figure this out, because I think the RSN model, especially the NHL's RSN model, where you have like regional blackouts and, everything else, they need to sort that out, because a lot of people are tired of paying, big money for these channels and then not being always able to watch the games they want to watch. So I think that's definitely an issue.
Yeah, and the only reason why I bring it up is because MLB came out today with contingency plans on what exactly they're going to be doing in case the RSNs do fizzle out, and then I think also their payments are going to be coming due here soon too, because we're almost about to start spring training for baseball. So
yeah,
there is a lot of working parts to this. Of course, it's such a lot of money at stake, and it's such a big, rich portfolio to have a lot of sports, that I don't think that they'll be looking for long for more revenue. I mean, because I think in today's day and age, I think sports is one of the safer investments you can make, because especially with how team values are going up and up and up. So but I do agree the streaming model needs the RSNs need to adapt better to the streaming model, and need to either start offering their channels as a standalone app per RSN, or needs to figure out how to revenue share and pull resources together if they want to get in bed with
I think
ESPN.
Honestly, I would, if I was an NHL team, I would just do it myself. And I would, I don't know. The problem is, right, is there are still people that watch on TV, so you don't want to completely screw over your TV viewing audience. But I would, if I was the team, if I was one of these teams, especially one in the Bally Sports, I would be starting to figure out how can I do the production and then have, and make the money directly. That gets tricky when you have, obviously, you don't want to completely take your team off television. But I mean, if this RSN thing gets really nasty, I don't think there's anyone coming in to bail Bally Sports, because, Fox Sports before that was in trouble when they were trying to spin off that business. So I don't think there's another television thing that's going to see how Bally Sports paid all this money for these Fox RSNs and how they kind of failed to make any money off of it. There's no one coming to the rescue. That's the scary thing.
Besides creditors looking to pay bottom dollar. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see kind of how that affects the hockey related revenue at the end of the year, and we tally up what the cap is going to do. I personally think it's going to be a stagnant cap. I don't think we'll see any movement this year. Gary Bettman strikes me as a very conservative president of the NHL, and again, I think that this hasn't. I mean, we've talked about it, but I don't think at the national level it really has gotten a lot of traction. So, again, if you're wondering why the cap isn't going up, just take a look at what's going on in the background for regional sports. And I mean, I think that's really where we're going to end it here tonight, Ian. I want to give you your final thoughts and where the people can find you, and what you're up to next.
What am I up to next? I don't know. I'm doing all this stuff. I'm doing all the stuff that I normally do. The Barracuda play this weekend. I'm sure that I will be doing that. I don't know. I got to check my work schedule to make sure that I don't have to be up too early in the morning. Other than that, though, I mean, obviously you can find me here a lot. And I do have a couple more games coming up. Where I'll be here. Other than that, you can follow me at Ian Blogs Hockey on Twitter. I don't do a whole lot on Twitter these days, but yeah, I mean, that's, you know where to find me. Yeah. Final thoughts. Obviously, I think this RSN stuff is scary, but I don't think it should be like. I think there's a lot of. I think we should let this play out a little bit before we just like jump to the conclusions that the NHL is doomed and everyone's gonna suck and the cap is never going up again. We should probably let that play out. But yeah, other than that, when the Sharks do good, it's good, and when the Sharks do okay and make it entertaining and then lose in the last minute, that's great too.
Yeah, that's for sure. I think I'll echo those sentiments for my final thoughts as well. It's good to see them playing in low-scoring games, and again, not going to overtime and giving a point away and stuff. I think, especially when it comes to trying to get yourself better position for the draft, the team needs.
Yeah, I'm sad that I didn't get to see the segment with Nick Nolenberger because obviously I had to watch the Vegas feed because, again, why make things good when you can make them expensive and less good? But also if you do, if you want to see just like the most ridiculous overtime shift ever, go on the Teal Town account and find Daniel Gushkin's overtime shift where he basically put the whole team on his back and won the game for the Barracuda.
Awesome. And you can find me at Eric Landy, using my first name, Eric Landy. That's my last name, across all the social media garbage. In case you missed us and you want to check us out again, check us out on the YouTube Rewind or your podcatcher of choice, that being the Apple Podcast Store, Google Play Store, SoundCloud, Spotify, TuneIn, iHeart, Audacity, and of course, always at the website, tealtownusa.com. So for Ian and the whole team, we thank you for joining us and appreciate all the likes and subscribes. And we'll catch you after the next game. So keep it real, keep it teal, keep it real teal, and thank you, everybody, and have a great night.